All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Machak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Um, Today's lesson, all right, is going to be on um, basically being that or like I titled it, the the difference of separation, okay, and showing the difference, okay, with us who know the truth and those who don't, because I actually just had a conversation with one of my coworkers, or my ex coworkers, and we were just talking, okay, and about basic things, okay, primarily, topic came out about women because he was going through whatever issue he's going through, but I as we were speaking, and I'm listening to the things he's saying. Yeah, I understood certain things he said, but it's sort of like he was there, but he wasn't really there, and there was something that wasn't allowing him to get fully there, if you know what I mean. And that was that difference of separation, because I could get there, I could fully get there, but he couldn't. And that was the mindset. The reason being is because over here, as men of the Lord, sometimes you might not understand fully the fruits that it brings, okay? Being that you have this truth, there's a certain mental barrier or a certain mental limit that you are able to cross because you have this knowledge, because you understand certain things. You are able to cross certain mental boundaries that people in this world cannot cross, and that makes us different. That makes us separate, because what? We have this word. See, when we first hear this truth, you hear something that you haven't really heard before. But as you begin to understand it, you apply a different kind of wisdom, a wisdom that is not of this world. And once you apply that wisdom, that then allows you to separate from the wisdom of this world, to separate from the ways of this world, and to apply an outer worldly, okay, kind of wisdom, which is why we're so different. Which is why we're able to do more than the average person, which is why we're able to be more rooted, more grounded, to have a drive, a purpose. We have the strongest purpose in the world. Therefore, we have the strongest drive. People always want to say they're on their grind, but what is your grind? What are you grinding for? You see? And how do you grind? Because we can do what they do, but they cannot do what we do. We can bounce off of what they say. We can understand what they say, but they can't bounce off of what we say. They can't understand what we say. We have the ability, okay, to ascend and descend based on who we're dealing with, as opposed to them who only have one ability, which is what? To stay in that estate. That's why Yahushua told him, he said, I am from above, you are from below. There's certain things we know and understand that people can't know and understand. So we have that ability to be different, but we also have the ability to understand. The truth puts you on a different level. The truth puts you on a higher pedestal where you can see, all right, a greater distance, as well as see the distance in close proximity. Those who are not on that same height can't see the greater distance, but they can see what's in close proximity. Being that you can see the greater distance, you can make a better judgment. You can determine how much time you have if there was a natural disaster coming. Okay, you can see more things and be alerted ahead of time. And what happens is when you deal with people that are not on your level, okay, not saying that proudly, but just saying it on a truthful scale. When you deal with those that aren't in like mind as you, those who aren't on your level, you have to sort of lower the thing. You can't say as much. Okay, certain things you say, you might word it differently. Okay, you got to sort of come down off of the height the truth puts you on, so you can deal with them on their level, because they can't deal with you on your level. All right. The things that we talk about amongst ourselves, we can't really talk about amongst them because they don't understand. So we got to sort of speak their language, if you see what I'm saying. They can't speak our language. We're bilingual. but they only have one language. So in order to communicate with people in the world, we have to speak their language. You see? So we have the ability to do both, sort of like spiritual code switching. Matter of fact, maybe I should have titled it spiritual code switching, but that might be a lesson for another time. Okay. So with that in mind, you have to understand that, look, you can deal. Yeah, of course, we live in the world. So being that we're not of the world, we still have to deal with things in the world, deal with people in the world. But you cannot make yourself equal and stay there. Okay. It happens to where people come down from the height the truth puts you on and they stay there. Okay. Because they're hanging out too much with people that aren't spiritual. So then their carnality grows. The more you stay around, you stay in the spirit and you stay around brothers in the spirit, the more your spirit grows. The more you stay around people in the world and do worldly things, the more your flesh grows. And if this is a battle between the spirit and the flesh, then what you're doing essentially is you're giving the flesh more ammunition and you're handicapping your spirit. Because the more you're around people in the world, guess what? Your worldly side starts to show and it starts to grow. You have to have a strong spirit, a spirit that's in charge, to where the flesh cannot take over because your spirit is in charge. That way, yeah, you can deal with them, but you can't really deal with them too much. You know, it gets to a point where you're like, all right, I kind of want to be alone now, or I kind of want to, watch a video or do a video or read or something spiritual to keep your spirit on top. Okay, keep your spirit nourished. But anyway, let me get into these precepts. This is 2 Corinthians 6:14. Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? Okay, let's see what it says here. To be unequally yoked together. Heterozugeo. Let me see how that sounds.
Strong's G 2086. Heterazugeo. Heterazugeo.
Right. To come under an unequal or different yoke, to be unequally yoked, to have fellowship with one who is not an equal. Ooh. Where the apostle is forbidding Christians to have intercourse with idolaters. Okay. So it says to basically put yourself on a level with one who is not equal. All right. And that's, like I said, that's not to be proud, but that's just the truth. Somebody who's bilingual compared to somebody who only speaks one language, if you put them on a level, they're not equal because one has an advantage over the other. Okay. So like it says here, don't make yourself equal with unbelievers because you're not. All right. But once you start doing that, you start giving up your spiritual side to in order to be carnal with them. Okay. That's like Superman giving up his powers so he can live as Clark Kent. It says, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion had light with darkness? Because where there is one, there's an absence of another. And where there is another, there's an absence of the one. You turn on the light to get rid of the darkness. You turn off the light to bring the darkness. So that's how it works. They're not meant to be together. They're not meant to merge. It's not light with darkness. It's light or dark. Okay. Do you want it hot or cold? Do you want to be righteous or unrighteous? And if you are righteous, then you have to be amongst people who are righteous. You see, it's like people who are even in the world, man. Liars, okay? Liars, like I said before, liars can't be around people who tell the truth because they'll feel uncomfortable. Because when you're around somebody that's doing something right and you know you're not doing something right, you kind of feel in your subconscious that you should be doing something right. And you feel guilty. So we don't have any fellowship with them unless we have to. Yeah, you might deal with somebody. Hey, the scriptures tell you might have a woman that's unbelieving. That is a different story. Okay, these are certain things that you can control, you can deal with, but not to get consumed in the world where your life becomes a part. Now you start merging with the ways of this world. Your light starts getting consumed by the darkness. You don't want that. Okay. It says, what concord hath Hamashiach with Belial or Baal, or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel, one without faith? Okay. Because you guys will disagree. You see a chariot, you say, yo, that's a chariot. Oh, what's a chariot? Oh, the vehicles of the angels. Oh, no, I don't believe in that. Example, the Sadducees and the Pharisees. How do you think Paul was able to cause that uproar between the two? One didn't believe in the resurrection or in angels. One did. So he just had to bring up that matter. And you see that even in the fact that they were all a part of the council, they disagreed. Because once that separation happens, they become different. If you were to put away the separation, they would be together. They would be the same. Once you bring up the separation, they become different. And it's even like that in this truth. You have different groups, different camps that teach different things. And then you got people that want to sort of brush that aside and come together with the things they have in common. But that's not what we are to do. What did Paul say? Do I seek to please men, or do I seek to please the Most High? The Most High isn't pleased with you putting away bits and parts of his doctrine so you can come together with others. No, you say the whole doctrine, and those that come to you are those who believe the whole doctrine. It says, okay, and what agreement hath the temple of the Most High with idols? Well, the Most High is the power of the living. Idols are dead. For ye are the temple of the living God, and as the Most High has said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate. Okay, be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. So when you come to the Lord, being that the Lord isn't in this world, the Lord is separate. In order to be where the Lord is, you have to be separate. Okay, and that goes into, hey, there's oftentimes you might have to cut certain people off. Okay, because they bring out too much carnality in you, and that is not your goal. In the kingdom, they will be spiritual, but right now they're on a carnal tip, so you can't deal too much with them. Okay, like I said, it's all a balance. Okay, but if you don't have to deal with them, if you don't have to do certain things that you know will lead to other things, man, then don't do it. As the scriptures say, who shall pity a charmer? If you know, if a charmer gets bit by a snake, who's gonna pity him? Because my man, you were playing with a snake. You know what a snake is capable of. So if you know what one thing can lead to, as they say, one thing led to another, and this happened, right? If you know that one thing can lead to another, and the first domino can hit the second, which can hit the third, and eventually hit the last, then don't hit the first domino down. Okay? If one thing can lead to another, don't be in the area where one thing leads to another. If you have a hard time stopping yourself, then don't start. Philippians chapter 2, verse 2. Fulfill ye my joy, that ye be like-minded. Okay? Like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind. When that happens, that avoids arguments, that avoids fights, it avoids all those things, because we agree, we're in one like mind. Yahweh Shai, they don't fight. Okay? Because they are on one accord, they are on one mind, one like mind. Okay? So you got to understand that, like it says, being like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord and of one mind, that's how you got to be, man. Okay? You got to deal with people that are like that. That way you stay in the right mindset. Okay? Oh, you might say something, oh, Khan, then the person bounces back off of it, adds on, then you add on, then they add on, and you keep going. You know, you keep going, because when you're dealing with people that aren't trying to do the same thing you're trying to do, guess what? Somebody's trying to do this, somebody's trying to do that, somebody's trying to do this, that, and that. And you're like, well, what I'm trying to do isn't what you're trying to do. You know, I'm gonna say, hey, how you doing? Might chill for a little while, but when it comes time for me to serve my purpose, you can't help me with that. So I'm not gonna try to include you in that. I have to separate myself now, because we're different when it comes to the things we have to do. Okay, you won't understand what I'm telling you. You know, so here it is. Like I said, you hanging out with somebody, and you might say, oh, well, that's a chariot, or initially you believe it is because you know it is. But they tell you, nah, that's a plane, that's a drone. You be like, nah, I ain't no drone, man. Guess what? You keep hanging out with them. Now you're going to start thinking, maybe I was bugging. Maybe it is a drone. Why? Because you're not dealing with people who would reinforce and add on to it. Yeah, come on, that's a chariot. Now your faith is being boosted up. But when you're dealing with people that are bringing your vibration down, nah, there ain't no plane. They're killing your faith. An infidel, one without faith, what? He's gonna have carry a vibration of one without faith. You keep hanging around him, guess what? Your faith is gonna decrease. Okay. Moving on. This is Amos chapter 3, verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? And that's a very profound statement, because if you going on a journey, you can only go on the same path if you both agree. But if one person says no, we got to, because look, what happens when you come into a Y intersection, all right, or a Y junction? There's a path to the right and there's a path to the left. And you guys are not on one like mind where you say, all right, let's both go to the right or let's both go to the left. If you're not agreed, one might say, nah, the right is shorter. Nah, you think so? Nah, I think the left is better. And instead of staying together and being in one like mind, one is going to say, I bet I'm going to go right. I bet I'm going to go left. They're not going to work together because they're not agreed. They're not in the same zone. They're not in the same mindset. They're not in the same spirit. Okay? There's only one spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. So if you're not in that one spirit, then you're not with us. Okay? That one spirit will say one thing. It will teach one doctrine. So when you have a variety of different doctrines and different beliefs out here, guess what? One of them is true. Okay, and we believe that's the one that the elders and apostles teach from Great Millstone on down. But there's still other ones out there. However, we can't be together because we don't agree. And eventually we will get to that Y junction. Okay, we will get to the Y junction. And I'm going to make a right and you're going to make a left. Only those who agree with me will make a right. Because they see the same way I see. So the reason I'm saying let's make a right, that's going to be the same reason they're going to say let's make a right. Hence, we're all going to make a right. Romans chapter 12. I'll get to the point. Starting at verse 2. It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Okay, let's look into the word conformed. All right, this is the Greek.
Strong's G 4964. Suschematizo. Suschematizo.
All right. Like, yeah, right. So, to conform oneself, i.e., one's mind and character to another's pattern, fashion oneself according to. Okay, so you're conforming your mind or your character to another's pattern. Who is that other? Well, let's read it. It says what? And be not conformed to this world. So that other's pattern that you're conforming yourself or your character to is this world. But what did the Lord say about the world? Look at the world. Is this a kind of place you want to pattern yourself or character or your mindset to? You see the kind of things people go through in the world? The things that they could have avoided, but due to lack of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, they didn't. The things people ended up in jail, ending up dead, ending up sick, ending up hurt, okay, ending up destroyed. That is what this world is providing for you. Because once again, who's this world under? It's under Esau, under his vibration. So once you conform yourself to this world, you're basically changing your mind and your character to fit the ideals and the morals of the rulers of the world at the time. And this world, this eon has been westernized. It has been Babylonianized. So once you conform to it, you then become a Babylonian. Because what? You start practicing the ways of this world. We don't do that. We keep the ways of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. That's how we originally started. That's how we were created to be. So we're not going to change ourselves to become like this world just to fit in. We might put up a front like we are, to the people in the world, but in reality, we know we're not. All right. But once you actually start hanging out too much and doing too many worldly things and not enough spiritual things, you'll actually start to conform yourself to this world, and it might start subconsciously. And eventually it gets so strong that it's able to take down your conscious spiritual side and force you into the world. Okay? And hey man, it doesn't happen just like that. It happens gradually. And gradualism is a dangerous thing if not used in the correct way. Okay? Because what happens when it happens gradually? Before you know it, it happened. Because you just thought that everything was the same, because you didn't notice the slight shift. You didn't notice the slight change. It's only over time that you see the big change. Okay? When you have a leak in your house and you put a bucket in there, cool. All you really see is drops, drop, drop. Come back 2 hours later, you see a full bucket full of water. It says, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Okay? So once we separate from this world and we renew our mind, we are not to go back and try to live that life of that old man. It's different. The things we eat are different. The way we carry ourselves are different. The way we think are different. The way we deal with people are different. We can see through people. We can read their spirits. We can speak to people. We can connect with people. We know what people to deal with and what people not to deal with. We know how to be about our business. We know how to conduct ourselves. We actually know the things we should and should not say, when we should and should not say it, how to discipline ourselves. Okay? That's a part of transforming your mind by the transforming yourself by the renewing of your mind. Because your body follows what your mind commands. And if your mind is not ruled by your spirit, but if it's ruled by your flesh, then what? You're gonna end up what? Being conformed to this world. It says that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. And that is what we are to do. Okay? And we prove that by our works, which starts what? We're up here. Your faith starts up here. And your works then show forth. Okay? You work because you believe. You act because you think. Moving on. 1 John chapter 2 and 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. People are in the world. Worldly people are in the world. Okay? If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Because right now, the Lord doesn't love the world. He only loves his elect. Okay? That's why he's going to hurt the world. Okay? So you can't love the world because you can only, look, man, the scriptures tell you can't follow two masters. You can only love one. Reason I say that is you love one. If you try to love two, you'll love one above another. Why? Because at some point, one thing that you love is going to require you to do something that's against the other thing, or vice versa. And you'll be hit with the ultimatum sooner or later. If you love the world too much, when that ultimatum comes, what are you going to do? You're going to forsake the Lord, or you're going to hate the Lord so you can love the world. Okay? Because you started getting entangled and attracted to the things in there. You are not to do that. That is why discipline comes into place. You're supposed to balance it all, man. But above all, the things you do concerning your spirituality should be more than the things you do concerning your carnality. And I'm talking about especially dealing with leisure times, because there's certain things you have to do, go to school, work, stuff like that. But on your leisure, the things you should do, all right, should be leaned more towards the spirit and less towards the flesh. Not saying that you can't do anything that you want to do pleasing to you, so long as it's within the boundaries of righteousness. Okay. But even still, you want to make sure you have that good balance between. All right. It says, the love of the Father is not in him. Okay, we went into that. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. These are things the Lord hates. See, that's why it says it's not of the Father, but it's of the world. Once you start loving the world, you start hating the Lord, and the Lord starts hating you. Okay? Because what are you doing? You're siding with the enemy. Okay? Now you start defending the enemy. Oh, but maybe they didn't intend to do it that way. Maybe it's not what you think it is. So how do I know that if I was to go against the enemy, you were going to side with me? Because we were just defending him in front of me. Okay? The lust of the flesh. What does the lust of the flesh lead to? Coveting, committing adultery, stealing, murdering. Because your flesh wants it and lusts after it, you commit certain things you shouldn't do to gain it. Instead of going the right way or being patient or just leaving it, your flesh wanted it so much that you did something that you shouldn't have done to gain it. The lust of the eyes. You see something you like. Okay, go and get it yourself. Do it the right way. No. Leave it alone. You don't need it. No. I like it. So I want it. I want it so bad I'm willing to do whatever I have to get it. The pride of life. Nobody can tell me what to do. Look at me. I'm making all this bread. I'm making all this paper, man. I'm my own God. I'm doing what I want to do. These things are not of the Father. They're not of the Most High. Those things are of the world. Okay. Verse 17. The world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever. You see, righteousness delivereth from death. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. So this world will pass away. The things in it will pass away. Okay, the lust thereof, all that is temporary. It'll go. It'll be destroyed. But those that do the will of the Lord will stay there forever. Okay, you can't gain the perks of somebody who's working for it by not working for it. You can't gain the perks of the Spirit and also be doing the things of the flesh. No, it doesn't work that way. You work, you get paid. You don't work, you don't eat. That's how it is, man. You're not going to gain immortality and everlasting life while doing things that aren't leading to those to immortality and everlasting life. That's not how it works, man. You pick one or the other. All right. So last precept, this is Romans 8:7. Because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High, or enmity against the Most High, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can it be. And that's why we're different. That is the difference of separation. We are separate because we are following the Most High. That makes us different from this world. Okay, that makes us different from people in the world. That's why we can understand certain things. That's why we can humble ourselves to a level that they can't. You know, a lot of people have a hard time being told what to do by another person. Okay, whether it be somebody around their age group or not, the fact that it's another person, guess what? They have a hard time listening to that. Okay, because they're not subject to the law of the Most High. Okay, and they cannot be. So they can't humble themselves. This thing is also about humility. If you're carnal minded, it's about me, 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 me. The Lord don't deal with me, 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 me. That's why we have a brotherhood. This work is a selfless work because we are making ourselves a sacrifice for the greater good. We are thinking long term, not short term. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High. But ye are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit. What does it mean by that? You're not in the flesh, but in the Spirit. So it's not that we don't, obviously you see this is flesh, right? I'm in the body, I'm in the flesh. Okay. But where am I really? Where is my state of mind? Is it in the flesh or is it in the Spirit? Okay. I have both of them within me. I'm right. I got the flesh here and I got the Spirit, but it's all up here. Okay. So we are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit. So the things we do are things that come forth out of our spirit. The decisions we make are driven by our spirit. The actions we take are driven by our spirit, not by our flesh. It says, if so be that the Spirit of the Most High dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the Spirit of Hamashiach, he is not of us. Okay? He is not of us. So if he's not of us, then we don't deal with him. Because now he might not be down for the same things we down for. And we can't afford that. We can't afford to find that out at a crucial moment. Okay? Here it is. You got somebody on your team that is not really down with you. What happens when it comes time when he has to step up to the plate and he doesn't? Okay? So these are things that you got to keep in mind dealing with the world, being in the world, but not being of the world. Okay? Understand that there's certain things you got to sacrifice. Certain people you can't be around too much. You know, they'll start to drain and bring down your vibration. So that's why, being that we still have to deal with certain people, deal with certain things in the world, we have to balance it out with the spirit. Okay. And you have to maintain that strong spirit. How do you do that? By staying in the spirit and doing things that'll help grow your spirit. All right. That is a very important thing to keep in mind, or else you'll be sucked into the darkness of this world. Remember, light is the opposite of darkness. Okay. They are not the same. We are the light of the world. The world is dark. The scriptures tell you. Matter of fact, let me end it with that. Light and darkness. All right, let's do the whole world. Oh, wickedness. Okay, Slack. It wasn't darkness. It was wickedness. But wickedness is the same thing as darkness, because they don't have the light to see the righteousness. All right. 1 John 5:19. As we know that we are the sons of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. All right. So keeping that in mind, you want to be very careful when you're treading, because we are what? In the valley of the shadow of death. Okay. And these people, they're already dead. They're zombies. All right. And what do zombies seek? Zombies don't go after other zombies. They go after those who are alive, so they can what? Turn them into zombies. Keep that in mind. All right. So I'm gonna end it here. Oh shoot, comment board. Let me take a look at the comment board. Hey, Shalom, brother. Let's see. We have 1 Peter 4:3. For the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles, when we walked in lasciviousness, lusts, excess of wine, revilings, banquetings, and abominable. Okay, yeah, idolatries. Yep. So these are all things that we used to do. But keep in mind, just because we don't do it anymore, think about this. When you used to do these things, there were others who used to do it as well. Just because you don't do it anymore doesn't mean they stopped. They still do it. You see? So what happens is that when you start dealing with them, guess what? That's still their mind. They're still gonna push that on you. That's what this world considers fun is wickedness. So when you say, "Oh, let's go have fun," and when they say, "Let's go have fun," we're talking about two different kinds of fun. You know? Oh, yo, what's up? Yo, let's chill. Let's roll up a blunt. That's when the red flag comes in. Because that's not my ideal way of chilling. Yo, bro, there's this chick, bro. It's gonna be lit. Keyword, it's gonna be lit. Let's go run a train on this chick. It'll be lit. Trust me, she's down with it. What does this world consider that? That they consider that to be fun. That's lit. My version of lit ain't doing that. You see what I'm saying? This is why we can't vibe. What you consider to be lit, I don't consider to be lit. What I'm excited about, you're not excited about. So we're two different sides of a coin. Okay. In order to see me, I have to flip you. In order to see you, you have to flip me. That's how it works. 1 Peter 4:4. It says, wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you. Perfect precept. You know, just like I said, because originally, remember, we used to do those things. But remember, now that we've been separated and we're different, they'll look at us as you different. I know we've all gone through it, man. Oh, what? Oh, man, they're not gonna believe you that you're a prophet. They don't believe that us, the new version of us is of the spirit. They don't believe that. So they start speaking evil of you because you don't do the same things you used to do with them. All right. That's why it's dangerous. You have to stay away from them because they believe in their mind they can get you to go back to the things you used to do. Hey, man, it's funny, too, because not really funny, but it's crazy how you have sodomites, right? Who do they go after? Sodomites oftentimes go after men who are not sodomites so they can turn them into sodomites. OK, a cancer doesn't go after another cancer. It goes after a live host. It goes after a perfectly working cell. Okay, so it can then turn it into a cancer or a virus and replicate. Okay, things that are bad seek to turn things that are good into bad. That's how it works, man. When a fire spreads, what does it do? The fire spreads so it can burn other things and then enlarge in that fire. Okay. Yep, that's beautiful. Iron sharpeneth iron can't be sharpened with wood. Exactly. Okay. And it's only so. Okay. I couldn't have said it better myself. Matthew 12:30. He that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. Yep. Worshiping the image of the beast. We are supposed to be in the image of God. Beautiful. Genesis 1:26. Exactly. Okay. So remember, this is a war, and you got to be on one side, man. You can't be on two sides in a war. That's not how it works. You're either fighting against somebody and fighting with somebody, or you're fighting vice versa. That's just how it is, man. That is the condition of the battle. Okay. And that is the mindset you have to be in, man. Because the time is coming very soon, which you got to prove your loyalty now. You with me or you against me? Ain't no in the middles, no gray areas, no lukewarmness. I hear you, but like, no. The second the Lord senses that that hesitation, that drawing back, you're drawn back onto perdition. Because the Lord has other men who are just straight up with it. Yo, who's with me? Straight up, me. I'm right there. What you need me to do? Instead of, damn, really? Like, but damn, that's a little girl though. Like, yo, you dead gonna kill her though? Like, all right, cool. Now you dead too. Now we killing you too. But I'm speaking, that's how the Lord is going. Look, if you're not with me, you against me. But hey, that was it. I'm pretty sure that was all the precepts there on the comment board. So like I said, I'm gonna end it here. Okay, I got the point across. All right, and especially now being in dangerous times, you're gonna have a lot of people who they're not gonna be seeking to give their life up for you. If anything, they're gonna be seeking to give your life up for them. Okay, so you have to be very, very cautious as to who you're around. Okay, and who you deal with and who you tell certain things to. Don't go running your mouth telling everybody about your business, because not everybody has your benefit in mind, man. Okay, so I'm gonna end it here. Lord willing, this was edifying unto the elect. Okay, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Until next time, Shalom.